Yes, you guys, I am still taking 5 sips every time I pick up my glass of water to take a sip. Well, last weekend or a couple days ago, I can't remember now, I did a whole video on 10 things that are really making my life easier. And boy, did you guys respond with so many great suggestions of your own, which we are going to compile a little bit later, maybe next weekend, and we'll do a video of your product recommendations. But there were so many other questions that you had relative to these, and there were a number of products I didn't share with you. Not all of these are new. Some of them were gifted to me. Some of them I got off of Amazon, but by all means, as I said earlier, I will try to include the links from Amazon or another source. But again, by all means, buy these things local, ask for them as gifts or buy them at a secondhand store, whatever. These are just things that I have found really have made my life easier and more friction-free. Now, Stuart is pointing over here. He's giving me a nod so that I don't forget to show you something. And this is your guys' award. It's not ours. This is your guys' award. So we just got this kind of notified out of the blue by YouTube that we had passed 100 subscribers a while back because you guys have been so great about sharing our little community here. And they sent this. We've actually passed, well, I don't know, 120,000 now or something like that. But it's really nice. It's really good looking. And Stuart's going to hang it in his office. And if we ever get around to doing a makeover of his office, then I'll show you where we got, where he has it hanging. And you know, it's got both of our names on it, so that really makes me feel good. And it's more Stuart's than mine, really, because he's the one who makes the magic. Okay, so here we go. This is kind of a spin-off, a sequel, if you will, with 10 more products that will make your life so much easier. So let me start out by moving some things. This isn't one of the products, but it is something I wanted to show you. My favorite smile present to give people right now, I'm getting ready to bring some of these to a friend of mine who just had surgery, are fragrant hyacinths. I got these at Trader Joe's, but you can get them a lot of different places right now, singularly or in a pot of 3 like this one. I think it was maybe $6.99, $7.99. I can't really remember, but the fragrance is exceptional, and I also have some by my bedside table. The pot came from Home Depot. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up about that. They're now starting to show up in your grocery stores. But this is my real #1 thing to make your life easier because so many of you asked about it. So this is a wraparound counter cutting board and pastry board. So let me show you how underneath it's also got some metrics on it. So if you are a baker and you bake a lot of things, it will show you what the measurements are. And there's even a ruler up here at the top. Now I don't use this part of it because I'm not a huge baker, but down here it's also got some liquid measures. This one I got, I don't know how many years ago. I got it from Sonoma, and it was a little bit pricey. We'll put the link. It's still available, but my goodness, I have used it and used it. And since I have tile on my countertops, it solves the problem of this kind of uneven surface as a counter material. So there you go. That is my #1 thing, this wraparound board. I'll also put a link to a less expensive one that doesn't have the metrics on the back side that is on Amazon, but I absolutely love mine. Now you can see mine is kind of dried out. It's well loved. It's got some pomegranate juice stains on here, I noticed, because I've been eating lots of pomegranates lately. So I need to give it a real cleaning with just some hot soapy water, and then I'm going to put a nice coating for the new year of mineral oil on it. And I just get this at my drugstore and I keep it underneath my sink so that I will periodically moisten and rehydrate all of my wooden cutting boards. So this is my #1 recommendation, this wraparound cutting board and pastry measure. Now my second one actually is not new, but I was cleaning out some things and I just loved it because it reminded me of my mother-in-law, Mamu, who gave me one of these years ago. I used it for a while and then I stuffed it away. You can see that it's still got the little plastic hanging tag on it. But what this is an over the drawer or over the cabinet plastic bag or grocery bag hanger. And she used these all of the time at her house, because what I love about it, well, there's several reasons I love about it. It's because you're reusing and recycling grocery bags in whatever fashion you see fit. What I like about it is that if I am preparing chicken or anything like that, and I've got meat scraps or something of that nature, that I may not want to put into my main trash can because it's rather large and I don't empty it daily, but I don't want this to kind of stink up my main trash can, so I can put it in here. Likewise, I can also use it for any kind of vegetable scrappings. You can see here I've got my compost bowl of things and I could dump it into here. It holds it open for me while I do so, and then I can take it immediately out to the trash or to my compost pile. So I will put a link, or Stuart will put a card. All of these links will be in the description below. It was inexpensive. The other nice thing about it is you don't have to bend down. It was just really easy for my my mother-in-law, who's elderly at the time, to just access it and use it. So it's really great. You can use it in the bathroom. You can also use it by your bedside table. You could probably even figure out a way to use it in your car. But I love it. It was well worth every penny. And that brings me to another kind of hack, one of these make your lives easier hacks that I saw as I was reading things for the new year, and that was to use an old tissue box to corral all of your grocery bags and things like that. Then I just cram it as full as possible. I keep one in underneath the sink upstairs in my bathroom, and I also keep one in my broom closet down here. That, as I said, it kind of corrals and stores all of them very, very nicely. And then any of them that don't fit in here, the extras that I have, I don't make room for those. I then just take those to the next store that I go to that will recycle these bags. So there you go. There's another little storage tip for you in addition to my number 2 make your life easier product, this grocery store hanger. Now let's move on to number 3. Well, this is another great life problem solver that I got as a gift, but I'll put the link because they did get it off of Amazon. But it's a key finder. Now, my husband has a much more expensive, fancy form of this same device, which helps you track your keys, your remotes, anything like that. But it requires an app, which I found a little bit unwieldy. I like this one a lot more because it's so much more flexible, I think. So what it is a remote device that's color-coded, and each one of the individual units can then be attached to a different set of car keys, to a different remote, to your glasses case, whatever it is you find yourself repeatedly misplacing in your home. I've also found it really helpful when I just want to know where my keys are and they're down in the bowels of my purse and I can't find them. This way I don't have to rummage through. All I have to do is just press the key and it will then sound on this little alarm that I've got attached to my key ring. And that said, it comes with little individual key rings, but what I also like about this, you can see I don't have this set up yet. This is one of my gifts from Christmas that I'm just getting set up, but it also comes with these little Velcro sticky pads that are adhesive on the back end, and then you can put them on the back of a remote or just about anything. The remotes for TVs now are so tiny that it's really easy to lose them, and they fall into the crevices of the cushions of your chair or your sofa. Stuart is nodding. Stuart, do I need to get you one of these? Yes, he's nodding that I do need to tilt the phone, Stuart. So yes, I will get you one of these, maybe one for Susu, your mom too, because they're just so incredibly handy. And then tell me in the comments below, this is one of my questions of the day. Tell me in the comments below, what else do you have trouble locating around the house that you think this would be a remedy for? I would love to know that as my question of the day. Other ways that you could utilize them. Every day as I lose something, I realize that I may have to get a separate set, because this only comes with 4. I might even need to use it just for the back of my phone, because I'm constantly misplacing my phone. Oh, my pruners, anything that you might use out in the garden, that would be a great idea. So there you go. It comes with the batteries. You don't have to buy additional batteries. It comes with the batteries. I just am really captivated by this as a problem-solving device. So there you go. This is one of these key finder or anything finder problem solvers. So let's move on to the next thing. Well, here's my next no-brainer problem solver. Sometimes, you guys, I'm a little slow and the obvious escapes me. And this is one of those obvious things you guys are probably already doing, but I am not. And that is when I have a dark purse, a lot of the things in it are likewise dark. My glasses case, my wallet, my keys, my whatever. And I realized that I would get to the grocery store or whatever, and I would panic because I wouldn't be able to find my small wallet, because I wanted a small credit card holder and coin purse that I could then take out of my big purse and use in a smaller purse that was just a little bit less heavy and a little bit more mobile when I was just walking around and wanted to be hands-free when I was at the airport or the grocery store, whatever. So I wanted a small wallet. I had one and it was black and I could never find it. It was actually dark brown. I could never find it in my big purse. Well, I was at Target and I found a little leopard skin, light colored credit card case that could also be used as a coin purse or for whatever, your insurance cards, etc. And not only do I like it because it is light colored and I can find it in the bowels of my purse, but I also like it because it's small enough that it will fit in a side pocket. You can see there, Stuart, it fits in a side pocket, so I don't even have to rummage around. It's small enough. It's not so large that it's at the bottom. So I really, really like that. And again, I also like the fact that I can put it into one of those small, over-the-shoulder small purses that I like so much. I can also fit it into my pocket. So there you go, a light colored, small, but large enough to hold lots of credit cards coin purse. Now I've put a link below because they had some really fun colored ones on Amazon. I thought this would be a really fun Valentine's gift for my daughters-in-law. I could get them a pretty one that was in a fun color that they could find in their purse, and then I might just put a little gift card or something in it. And I thought that would be a fun Valentine's gift idea. And pretty soon, by the way, you guys, I'll be sharing some of my Valentine's Day tip suggestions. So I've lost count. I don't know what number we're on, but there you go. A problem solver when you can't find your wallet in your purse. Well, if you've got hardwood floors like I do, you do your best to try to protect them, and I certainly do, because they're an investment and you don't want to get them scratched or scuffed up. So anything you can use to prevent that is a good thing. And here are 2 suggestions in that regard. I buy these felt glides or these felt pads in these huge quantities. I get them in different shapes and different forms. I use them to put underneath any kind of stool or chair. That way it can slide across the wood surface without scratching it. But I likewise put them on the bottom of pots or bowls or anything, porcelain trays, anything of that nature that might scratch the surface of some of my mahogany woodwork or any of my woodwork in general, in windowsills, etc. And so these are absolutely wonderful. Again, they come in all kinds of different sizes, and I have just found them absolutely indispensable for so many different reasons. So this is my next problem solver to keep your floors, your wooden floors and wooden surfaces from being scratched. And again, we will put a link. Now, this next one may not be quite so obvious. And I got this idea. I have gone to the same hairdresser for I don't know how many years. Jenny is a good friend of mine, and we share different tips and things. And she would use these Boy Chong, or Choi Bong, excuse me, straw brooms that she would get at her Vietnamese grocery store. There are different kind of ethnic grocery stores you can find them. That's the only place I have found them, just off of the shelf. But you can also buy them online, and we've put a link below. They're inexpensive, probably less expensive if you can find them at your Asian food market than they would be if you get them online. But I buy these in quantities, and you can see I've got one right here. And what I love about them is they are so lightweight. You'll find that a number of hairdressers use them in their salons because they've got a really fine texture to the broom part itself, to the whisk portion, and because of that, it really easily captures dog hair, human hair, whatever, those notorious little fuzz bunnies that you get at the bottom and in the corners underneath your bed and things, and they can reach underneath your bed brilliantly. So I love it. Again, they're lightweight, so I've got this and they're narrow. They're very slender and narrow. So I just keep mine hung behind my kitchen door. I got another one that I'm going to hang in another location, and because it's got that slender profile, I can shut this door and it hangs here at the ready for me to grab it and use it for a quick swipe of my kitchen wood floors. Now let's move on to the next problem solver. Well, these might be my favorite make your life easier or life enhancing suggestions because they're all about reading, and I have been a reading fool. It's one of the reasons I absolutely adore January, because I don't feel guilty about reading as much as I want to. In fact, sometimes I don't even get out of bed. I just stay in bed in my jammies on a cold and blustery day on my heating pad, which is going to be my next problem-solving recommendation. Now, we might think about having a heating pad if we've got back problems or, just achy joints or things of that nature. But one thing that I try to do in my life in January is come up with what are the impediments that keep me from doing something else that I need to get done. And for me, a lot of it in January is because I'm always, in the wintertime in general, is because I'm always cold. So I discovered that if I had not just one heating pad, I have this one in my bed that I lie on at night while I'm reading in bed, but I had multiple heating pads in different locations, it would keep me from being cold and keep me from procrastinating on my to-do list. And the case in point for me is I always get cold sitting at my desk. And so I bought an extra heating pad that I then keep by my desk on my desk chair, and I can put it in my lap, and that keeps me from sitting down at my desk and slaving over my computer, because I in general kind of don't like to be seated during the course of the day. I'm just up and moving around. So this entices me to sit down. I'm warm and cozy, and once I sit down, I'm more likely to stay there if I am not cold. Now, I definitely would recommend that you get one that has an auto shut off, because I am notorious about not remembering to turn it off. This one actually has a timer on it. But whichever one you get from whatever source, I highly recommend that you think about using a heating pad in other areas of your house that where you might be cold and you might keep from doing what you need to do. So as an extrapolation from that, I really need to tackle my closet. It's a mess right now, but it is situated under the eaves of an outside wall off of my bedroom. And because of that, it's very cold in there. And that keeps me from wanting to clean out my closet. So I think I'm going to splurge on a little space heater to put in my closet so that that area will be nice and toasty, and it won't prevent me from going in there, spending time and trying on clothes that I'm considering getting rid of. Also, I will definitely get one that has an automatic shutoff. I actually had one, and then somebody in a nearby neighborhood did a shout out. Their heat was turned off. They couldn't afford to keep their heat on. So I give those sometimes for that purpose, and I gave that one away. So I'm going to treat myself to another one for my closet to keep me from living my best life and getting myself organized. Okay, now on to ones that to me are a lot more fun. So I just finished this book, Leaving Before the Rains Come by Alexandra Fuller. I'm absolutely obsessed with her. She's a memoirist, and I finished this one last night, and I have already reserved the other ones, and I'll get to that tip momentarily. But my next tip is that when I have books like this that are from the library and they're not part of my permanent library, I obviously cannot dog-ear the pages and I can't mark them up. So I have started buying these little adhesive tags, Post-it tags. I buy them in bulk. You can get these at your dollar store. I'll put a link below. They are used a lot on tax returns to indicate where to sign. But I like these because I can then put that marker in my book right next to the passage that I want to highlight and record in my notes app, which I talked about earlier in a previous video, and I don't have to stop my reading to record it, take a screenshot of it, or to write it down. All I have to do is put one of these arrow markers next to it. When I finish the book, I can then comprehensively go through all of those pages and record my favorite passages. I can also do this if there are magazines that I want to save that I don't want to tear the sheet out of, or I just want to mark it, pass it on to someone else. I just find this really, really valuable. So I keep these in a number of different locations, really wherever I read. I keep them in my book bag that I take with me when we go on road trips and I'm going through magazines and books. I also put a stash of them in my little bedside basket where I keep my necessities that I want to have right near my bedside. I keep some in there. That way all I have to do is reach down and get these handy quotation markers for when I'm reading. The other nice thing is I think it's a fun smile present if I come across a passage that is particularly pertinent to someone who might be struggling right now, or something especially funny. I can then share it with my brothers and sisters, friends, or whatever, and I know that that is the area where I want to take the screenshot and pass it on. So these little markers are just invaluable for that purpose. The other thing I use them for is I'll just take out my little tab of them, card of them, and I just put them inside, and then I can use them as my book marker, and I know that they are handy and at the ready. When I'm finished with this book, all I have to do then is just transfer my book marker to the next book. So that is a really handy little tip. Now, I commented on my book bag. So I have a book bag that I always have at the ready for when I go on road trips or we're traveling, or I'm going to head to the coffee shop and I've got books and magazines that I want to go through. So this is kind of a twofer. I have started doing this with all of my old magazines that I'm really trying to cull through, discard them, tear out whatever is important in those magazines, and then I can recycle the magazines that I have already been through. And I have found this way to kind of organize them. So I used to organize like all of the 2021s together, all of the 2020s together. I particularly do this for my prized magazines like Martha Stewart Living or Southern Living, those kind of some of my favorite shelter magazines, Veranda, if I've got a subscription to those, and I have back stocks of those of editions that I've saved. So here's what I've started doing. I now don't categorize them by year, I categorize them by month. So then when I am looking for tips for January or good ideas for Valentine's Day in February, all I have to do is then go through and get my stack of January magazines that I then go through the course of the month. In this case, I'm already working on February, that I go through the course of the month, and I stick them in various locations. So I've got some in my book bag, I've got some by my bathtub because I love to read magazines in the bathtub. I've got some downstairs by my fireplace, so whenever I sit down I can go through one of those. And often, as you'll see, I also tag information in those magazines that I want to salvage. In this case, it looks like it is Seed Starter Valentine. I've got a couple of ideas in here that I earmarked. This time, however, when I go through these magazines, I'm tearing out the sheets, I'm filing them in their particular month, and then I'm recycling the magazines because I just don't need this inventory anymore. They're dead weight, and I just am trying to get rid of stuff. So there is my next tip. Go through and aggregate your magazines according to month and season and maybe holiday versus year. Now let's move on to the next one. Well, here is my next idea to make your life easier. I am a huge fan of my public library, and I think I have shared with you before that before I add a book or a tome to my permanent library, I check it out of the library first whenever possible, and then if it's something that I want to have as part of my permanent collection, then I will buy it. So one of the ways that I can easily check out, reserve, and find books is through the Libby app. And the Libby app by Overdrive is a free app that you can download. And then you just put in information like what your library card is, what your local library is. And I've got my library card number memorized, just like my social security card. I would reveal it to you, but it's highly secret. And I just then connect it to my library card number and to my public library, and I can go in here and any book that I read about or that I hear about, I can then immediately, and this is another way that then I don't forget what books I want to read, I then just go into my Libby Overdrive app and I can put it on hold. Now I'm using Stuart's phone right now, so I can't demonstrate on mine, but I just put it on hold, and you can manage your holds, you can renew your loans, you can check out books in book form, in Audible form, in ebook form, whatever your library has, and it's just wonderful. And then you will get a notification when that book is ready. So for example, I read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan, and I also wanted to listen to it on tape. So I had it in my permanent library, but I wanted to listen to it. Because it was so popular, it wasn't available as soon as I went and searched for it in my Libby app. But all I did was put it on hold, and when it was available after the last subscriber had used it, it then told me it was available and I had it ready to go. The other reason that I like it is because if books aren't available readily, if they're a bestseller and you're on a waiting list, then what this does is help me manage my huge pile of books, because I can't read them all at once anyway, and this kind of helps me stagger them out over time. So it's just a wonderful idea for you to make borrowing from your local library easy. It will immediately download it if it's a book on Audible or your ebook. If it is a hard copy that I want to read, I get a notification that it is ready to be picked up, and my sweet husband, that's one of the things he does for me. It's one of his acts of love, is he goes and picks up my library books and returns them for me, and I get a lot of them this time of year. So that is my last and final, one of my very favorite recommendations. That's the Libby app by Overdrive. Again, it's free. I've got mine on an iPhone, but you can probably get it on another type of smartphone. And lastly, because I know you will ask, what is the music playing in the background? It is one of my very favorite radio stations. It is Autumn Jazz Radio. And I want to close by something that I read this morning. And it was my morning meditation, and I just loved it. And it was along the lines of come what may. It was called a come what may meditation. You can handle this. And so all day today, when I'd get a little bit frustrated over something very insignificant, or I was worried about an illness in the family or something like that, I would just tell myself, come what may, you've got this. And so those are my parting words to you on this Sunday. Come what may, you got this. Take care, guys. Well, if you've held on this long, here's my fashion epilogue for today. My earrings. These are some earrings that I've kind of rediscovered, and I'd challenge you guys to do the same thing in your own closets. I think I told you that around Christmas time I went on this silver polishing binge, and one of the things I did was go into my jewelry closet and I polished a bunch of my silver jewelry, which completely transformed them and made me love these earrings again. So these are my sterling silver cactus earrings. I got these in Santa Fe, I don't know how many years ago, and now they're nice and shiny and polished. My scarf. One of the questions I asked was, what was one of your favorite accessories to complement your outfit? And I think above and beyond, for the most frequent response was scarves. So who knew that they were such a popular accessory, and it inspired me to wear this one, which belonged to my son Johnny. He left it here when he came home, and so I'm wearing it now. My top is just an old navy top. I think I probably got it at Goodwill. I was attracted to it because it was warm and it was red. My breeches are the same jeans that I have showed you the past several videos. I haven't been working outside in them, so they're still pretty clean. These are, what did I say they were? They were Ann Taylor Loft, and I got these at Goodwill. My socks actually are monogrammed, since I'm just working in the house today. Someplace on here, I think there's a monogram. Well, but I won't belabor you looking. I got these, I think, at Mark and Graham. I do like things that are monogrammed, that are a little bit more special. And I like wearing comfy, cozy socks as I'm just working around the house. I do have a question of the day for you guys, because I'm just curious about this. As I'm going through my accessory closet and cleaning things out, I was going through my belts. And I'm curious as to if you're a person who, A, tucks in their shirt or doesn't tuck in their shirt. I'd like to know that. And if you do, B, when you wear jeans, do you typically wear a belt or you don't wear a belt? I guess, again, no right or wrong answer. I'm just kind of curious as to what kind of the fashion trend is. I'm also kind of curious as to how many of you do that half tuck thing that's really popular right now. How that got popularized, I'm not sure. But there you go. There is your fashion epilogue for today.